In this video, I find but reject 2 rear door tables, make some simple but effective side steps, try out an interior lighting idea, use some off-the-shelf brackets onto which my microphone will be stowed, make good a very dodgy roof console, and display some maps to inspire future travels. People send me stuff. This is an item that is, well, it's supposed to be part of the troop carrier build, but I have no idea if it's any good. It is a, well, I'll open it and reveal it to you as I open it. But you know, it's fantastic actually being approached so often by people all over the world saying, hey, I've got this product, and I have to be careful. I don't accept all of them. I get offers for lights on a, I was going to say daily basis, not quite daily basis, but definitely weekly basis. Try these lights, try those lights. And a lot of the products are just other products rebranded. So there's nothing really fresh and new about them. But every now and again you get something that's fantastic, really good. There it is, bisongear.com. So that'll fit in the door like that, and it'll open. This is the obviously protection. This is laser, that's stainless steel, and out comes a cutting board. Quite nice. I do like it. If I think about it, what could I use a rear table for to make it super practical, super versatile? And the answer is really simple. When I open this, all right, ta-da, out it comes, down comes the table, and I cook something. In other words, the stove, gas or electric, is part of this structure. I don't have to wire it, I don't have to plug it, I don't have to do anything to make that work. That's my goal. That would be a really good use of that rear table, because its location is shielded from the wind. So if you're outside the vehicle and you want to cook something, ta-da, there you are. If it's windy and horrible weather, it's also there. It's not inside the vehicle, because cooking inside a small space like a troop carrier is not a great idea. It's just too small inside. In fact, any van, think twice before automatically going to, I'm going to cook. Boiling up pasta or something is fine, that'll be okay, but forget about making a, cooking a nice steak or something. The smells and everything, or cooking onions or whatever. It's too much for such a small space. But I do not believe that there are any products available on the market capable of doing that. I looked at the quick pitch, new quick pitch drop down table. Very interesting, really interesting. Fitting it means actually cutting the structure. This is like an eggshell, this door. That's what gives it its rigidity and strength. Cut part of the eggshell away and you're going to make it weaker.
So that's a quick pitch, rear door, storage and table, and that fits right inside.
Because that wheel carrier is the only one that I actually know of. There are obviously more, but that I've had personal experience of, that don't crack, and I'm talking about standard ones fitted to vehicles. I've had Geländewagens, the door cracks. My Defender, door cracks. Toyotas, they don't crack. I know people who actually carry 2 spares on that, which I would never do. But the door is part of that strength. So cutting away this, not an option. So I have to design one myself, because there's no product around that will work. And so I will design it, develop it, and I will make it available for sale. Because I'm not going to fit any on there now, because none of them will do the job I want it to do, and in my opinion should be able to do, because it's such a perfect place to have a drop down stove. This is the standard side step. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, you've seen it before, but my idea of the side step is I don't want rock sliders. They're very, very heavy, bulky things, and I want to keep it light. It'll protect the bodywork to a point, not for jacking on, and if they get bent, well then, really, so what? Alright, I could get rock sliders. They're very heavy. As I said in the previous video, do I really need them? How many times in my career have I relied on them for winching the vehicle or protecting the vehicle because I hit a big rock? Very few times. I have, but very few times. And they are of course very, very heavy, so there's a very large cost penalty. But I need a good, strong side step. So that's the standard one. I have found nothing on the market. It's either rock sliders or these. There's nothing in between. So I have to find a way to sort this out myself, and I have. These come directly from Land Cruiser 79 dual cab. The whole thing will weigh a couple of kilograms, and I have to trim them that much. I put the end caps, which are on the troop carrier, which are those guys, and I put them on it. It's a bit of cutting, a bit of drilling, a bit of riveting. I've got to move just one of these brackets, and I will then have them coated in a very, very hard, resilient black, so the whole thing looks black. It'll look good, but light, practical, and actually quite fun doing the conversion. So this then is the one that I'm still cutting. This one has been cutted. That's the end cap that goes on like that. I still have to drill a hole here for that bolt there. Okay, this is the one that I haven't yet cut. These match, these match, these are off, these match, and then this piece here I need to cut off this here. This is the piece that I cut off there, so I have to now cut that off and then use that trim, which comes from the troop carrier, because the trim on the 79 isn't quite as good, isn't quite as nice. That's it from the 79. I'll use the Troopy trim, and it'll run full length and do the job nicely. You might ask, why full length? Well, mostly aesthetics, because the way it's cut off halfway with the Troopy is just plain ugly. And secondly, if I'm loading maybe firewood onto the roof or something like that, there are tie-down rails on the roof. I can stand on it and access it more easily. That's it. Lighting inside. This is an experiment. I find, generally speaking, lighting on the outside of the vehicle meant to illuminate a campsite, they're too bright. And what I find is that when I then go and do another task, my eyes are slightly blinded. They're not used to the darkness, and it takes my eyes some time to adapt. I think it's the same with all of us. It's especially so if you're inside a camper, caravan, whatever. The lights are generally very, very bright. Being bright and being bluish in color, they attract a lot of insects. And one has to rush out and quickly close the door behind your camper so that the bugs don't get in. Or have red lights inside the camper, whatever. But how about this? As I said, an experiment. I want to be able to control the lighting inside the vehicle in terms of brightness and in terms of color. I could buy very expensive interior lights that'll do that for me. But I've got to reach for the light to change its color, change its brightness. I want to do it remotely. I want to be able to stand here and just turn it to red because the insects are starting to come. Or close up, quickly turn it to the white, but not have it too bright inside the camper. Ta-da! $60. LED light strips with a remote controller that I'm now going to run inside. As I said, for the third time, this is an experiment. I wonder how reliable this is going to be. Well, we'll find out soon enough. I'm afraid this experiment with the light strip is, well, kind of failed before it would start. I put it up there, it's up there, And the remote works, the red works, white works. But I parked a day in the sun and look what happened. Well, if the thing's going to let go, just because it gets hot in the car, then this is a non-starter. That's now red, and I can make it duller or brighter using that one there. That's dull. I don't know if you can see that there's a lot of daylight in the car, but if the glue's going to let go, it's pointless. Disappointing, because it had promise. Wouldn't it be nice if the light, not only in the inside but on the outside, floodlights around the vehicle, could be dulled, dimmed, a gentle yellowish light around the vehicle, just so you can see detail, not too bright, and so your eyes can acclimatize to the dark, and that you'll be able to see the eyes of any animals coming towards the camp, but not so bright as to kill your night vision. Anyway, that's off, and also the remote is, well, it sucks actually, very poor quality. No product exists, which means I might have to make one. Now my sense is that having seen that, you're ready to make a suggestion about a lighting product that might suit my needs. Before you do that, okay, I welcome your suggestions, but before you do that, my requirements are this. I want to be able to control the lights, dim them, change the color from outside the vehicle. So they have to be remote switchable, okay, and dimmable and change color. I could use something like this. This is the Hella Marine light. It comes in 3 different colors. Or this thing here I had in the camper. They're lovely lights and they do all the color things, but they're not remote switchable. I don't want to have to get to the situation where I'm outside the vehicle and I want to turn the lights on inside the vehicle. I don't want to have to climb inside the vehicle, turn it on and adjust the color. I also want to have a broad light inside the vehicle. In other words, if I had more than one of these, it would work, but I want them switched together. I want one place where I can go, I want it red and I want it that bright. So if you can think of any product or combination of products that meets that criteria, those criteria, then I welcome your suggestions. I really want to show you the interior. It's basically done. All right, so where do I start? Okay, the switch panel at the moment has I can control the oven, the boiler, the lighting at the back of the car, obviously not installed yet. Likewise with oven and boiler, they're all to come. I have my LED light bar switched there. I have my daylights, which are operational, switched there, and I have my running lights, which are the Hella Rocklume main spot lamps. Those 4 there are part of what Toyota supply. I won't go through the details apart from the fact that I've added a USB. The microphone is going to be attached there. It's a little bracket made by, I don't remember, it's not really branded. It's a chap that makes them in his garage and he sells them online. I've put the link in the description. They're stainless steel and I have wrapped it in black. They're supplied in pairs. They're fitted there. I have only fitted one of them because I only have a need for one of them, but my radio microphone will go there during a trip and I will have a plug put in somewhere in the console when I install the console. Console's been a bit of a problem in that, well, I want a fridge. With the troop carrier, the seats are closer together by a very small amount than in the 76 and 79, because in the 76 and 79 you can get the consoles, Department of the Interior, beautiful wooden console, gorgeous, with a Bushman 15-litre fridge, and it all fits beautifully together. But they don't make one for the troop carrier because the Bushman doesn't fit in the troop carrier because of the seats are too narrow. But this one is the Snowmaster 12-litre. It does fit, and I've just used the original Toyota consoles, moved them around a bit, remounted them, and they'll do for now. So of course the steering wheel is from PCS. It's the Land Cruiser 200 steering wheel. I have made all of the remotes work. I got that from eBay. I got the insides from eBay, and I did that work myself, and I assembled it myself. I have my scan gauge there that I've actually had in quite a few vehicles. I'm just keeping it. The sound system, that's also PVS. PVS offer this unit as a navigator. It's very similar to the Alpine unit. It's quite a bit cheaper than the Alpine unit. I've used both and it's very similar. I can't really comment on which one is better, but I would say this is better value for money because it is cheaper. It occurs to me though that you guys haven't actually seen this extension to my workshop before, have you? And the good news is that the Troopy fitted both ends of my workshop, and the reason why it was important to get it out to this side of the workshop is that I can now actually open it up and work on it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort out the Alu Innovations overhead console, which as it is fairly useless, but I've got some ideas where I can actually turn it into something very useful. What I have been looking forward to showing you is this, the roof console. The standard console that comes with the Alu Innovations rooftop tent includes this. I have covered it in carpet. It is not supplied covered in carpet. I think that's one of the drawbacks. It should be braced. It was vibrating very badly, so I had to do a lot of modifications to it to get it right. Here then is the console. I have removed it. Quite easy to remove. I had to take out their wiring. That wasn't difficult. Their wiring to the light there. Now I wanted you to listen to this. I know that guys from Alu Innovations, you will get to see this video. Can you hear that? Imagine that on a corrugated road. You also added a piece of matting. This was supplied like this. That was without question an afterthought, and not a lot of thought was put into it. So my suggestion is that an improvement to your product would be pay attention to the overhead console. It's important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it in carpet. Why not cover it in the same carpet as you use underneath the tent, so it matches? Why not? That would solve a lot of the vibration problems. I'm not crazy about the light because these lights in the cab right here, it's too bright. It blinds you. So in other words, if you're in the car and you're using it, you get blinded. So when you turn it off, everything's dark. You can't see clearly. You've used the same light in the inside of the tent, too bright. Inside, too bright. It does switch from amber to red, which is nice, but honestly a light 1/3 the size would be better. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to mount a number of things on this, including a GPS. So I've measured it up. That will be mounted like that, and so I'm going to prepare all this, drill all the holes, replace the light, cover it in carpet. I'm going to put carpet on the inside as well, again to try and prevent that vibration, because this is light material, and I don't think you need to make it out of heavier material than this. This is absolutely fine, but you have to brace it in the middle. You must brace it right here because this bends too easily. And you've also added these bits of trim here. Do you put these to trim it around? Completely unnecessary. you don't see them, your hands don't rub on them, why have them? They don't serve a purpose. I would recommend lose them altogether. So, this is a nice little project that I will do. There's not a lot of space here. That gap is, that gap is that much. So you can't really put too much stuff in there. However, if you did put sunglasses up there and it fell, you can get your hand in there to find them and pull them out. However, because I've got electrical wiring in there, it's not going to be a great place to have stuff moving around. So that's not a great, as it stands, that's not a great solution, and I will do some more work on that. But underneath, I'm very, very happy with what I've done. So this is how it's going to work. GPS mount with a piece of Velcro there that'll stick to the carpet once attached. That's tightened. Very little vibration. Okay. Then this light here with a emergency hammer, which will fit in like that. There, emergency hammer, and then a second light like that. I've taken their original light and I have remounted it. Okay, it comes in the 3 different colors. It's a little bit bright for work in this environment, to be honest with you. You know, I'd rather something that was a quarter as bright. But what I have done is I've added here a RAM mount. This is the Garmin Overlander with its absolutely magic mount. So that now is my navigator. All right, and as it's in its current location now, it is not blocking my revision mirror. It's a little close to my head, but the great part about these things, if you knock your head on them, they just come off. So, and if I'm not using it, I can store it up there, and when I need it, just bring it down and clamp it on. And I love it. I'm so impressed with that piece of navigation equipment. It's wonderful. I have the option of dropping it down, and if I was on a trip and actually wanted to if I didn't really need the revision mirror, if I was on a long track, I've got these two, they're very good. I would move it further away and have it in that location, and then that would actually be a very nice location for my navigator. Very easy to see detail and not obstructing my view at all. So I'm very chuffed with that. What I've also done, I've got a microphone here which is working now. It's a radio microphone linked to that little DJI camera. I have lights, map reading lights. These are Hellas. I had them in the Dream Tourer. They are very, very nice. The Hella lights are these guys here, Hella Marine LED interior on a flexible arm. This third one is going right at the back, so I can access it from when standing outside the vehicle. If I want to turn on and off a light for the interior from outside, that's what I will use. And of course, if I was filming, this would be a good experiment actually. If I'm filming and at night and I want to put a little bit of light on myself, I might do that. How good would that be? That would be quite good. It might flicker though. These LEDs tend to flicker. There's another one over there. I have a emergency hammer, which is in that location there, accessible for both passenger and driver. Ordinary power socket. Not sure how I'm going to put those in. I'm thinking in the center behind here, so then when I'm in the driver's cabin I need to plug things in. I might have to, you know, stretch my head around to see it, to plug it in, but the plugs themselves will be hidden by the GPS. That's my idea anyway. I have a power outlet there which is USB, and I'm pretty proud of that. I've got other tools sitting here. That's the Raptor scissors. I've got a light which is turns on automatically when the doors are opened. It basically comes from the original fitting that Toyota put in the car, and I've moved it over there in a more useful location. This is the standard interior light in the 70 series, like that, and then you have a switch that goes door and on, and obviously in the middle is off. Now this is taken off when the roof conversion is done, and in some cases that's actually replaced. I have not put it back because I just want this to turn off and on when I open the door and when I close the door. So what I will do is I will change the globe to a very, very low power LED, and because I can't leave the back exposed if I mount it, because if one of those shorts out, it'll blow the fuse. Truth be told, I've already blown the fuse. So I made this with my 3D printer, did a little drawing, and that clips on there like that. And I've got little mounting holes there, so that will go in there. I'm very, very pleased with my interior. Is there anything else I need to show you? I've shown you the speakers before in previous videos. This stow all is wonderfully useful. You can't get those anymore. They're made by a company called Caprivi in South Africa. I believe you cannot get them anymore. And my next job is to fit the radio, which I'm going to do because I've got the rooftop conversion on, which means I can get the brackets and run the antennas and run my antenna cables down and locate my radio. So that I can start doing before we get to the point where we start installing the interior, which is going to happen any day now. Oh, check that out. That's beautiful. These are the side steps, and they have been coated with a product called Line X, and I understand that it is extremely hard wearing, and it's got a very nice looking finish too. So there they are, ready for fitting. I'm also going to show you that. Of course, the idea of it is that I can plan trips. I can sit here and get really frustrated that I can't go to certain places there, and just as frustrated that I can't go to places beyond these lines here. That's where I live, and these dots on the map are places that I've already travelled in Australia. I've done pretty well considering, but there's a big gap here. Big gap. Places that I have not visited. 2017 I drove up here all the way along then, and then I did the Canning Stock route, which all goes all the way back down to there, then back home. In 2018 I drove right across the country and all the way to Melbourne, then up through the high country, and then all the way up to Byron Bay. Then from Byron Bay picked up my daughter in Brizzy and then drove right across Australia. And by the time I got to this point, I was so exhausted I didn't actually continue the westerly trip. I took the faster road back, but I took this little road down here, which was very remote, through here, and then back onto the coastal road. I wanted to show her. I remember the cliffs. The cliffs here are the Bunda Cliffs are magnificent. And then back home. 2018 I did the Kimberley, which was a drive up here and then through the Kimberley Gibb River Road all the way back down to Derby, and then along the coast all the way home along the coast. I did that with Jeremy. Then 2019 I did a little solo trip, which was this route here. If you want to have a look at those, by the way, all of these trips are actually on my website. The page description and link is below, but you can actually look at the map and actually see, because when I'm driving on these trips I have a satellite transmitter. It actually transmits to the satellite, and the satellite receives my position, location, speed, etc., and it logs a trip. Then in 2020 with Gwyn in the Dream Tourer, we went up to Mikachara, all the way up to Newman, and then we went and toured the Pilbara, and we wild camped around this area here. Eventually found ourselves on the beach not far from Ningaloo, and we drove down the coast. These have been kind of family trips, not too far from where I live. And we've done that several times, including Esperance. In terms of the world, I lived for 38 years in South Africa and toured Namibia. I have lost count on how many times I've actually toured Namibia and Botswana. In fact, I consider myself a bit of an expert on this part of the world. There is barely a road I have not driven. In that country, Botswana, Zimbabwe, southern Mozambique, a lot of Zambia, once to Angola, and once to Malawi. Bit of touring in Europe. Fair amount of touring in the United Arab Emirates and Oman. Of course, that's Australia. That is Indonesia. And of course, quite a bit of touring in the United States. But look at the rest of it. Not a pin to be seen. I'm not a young guy. I'm not an old guy. I'm very healthy. And I will be doing this for another 10 years. Okay? And so what do I want to do? I've got, let's put we all have a limit, a time limit. All of us. Even my granddaughter has a time limit. But as you get to my age, that time limit becomes more in front of mind. And for me, it's okay, where have I wanted to go, and where do I really want to go, and where in 10 years time, when maybe not, but maybe my health is not what it is now, and I can't do the kind of traveling I want to do, I don't want to say, oh man, why didn't I? No. And that is the reason why I got these wonderful maps, wall maps. They're HEMA, by the way. HEMA maps. They're really lovely. And that's why I put them here, to motivate me. Thank you so much for watching. 4xOverland is truly independent of sponsors, and that means that our opinions, reviews and commentary cannot be influenced by commercial interests. Help us stay independent by joining our Patreon family now. Details in the video description.